Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this live show by Lego Creatives on the topic of comic book contracts. How is everybody feeling today? Let me know in the chat. That way I know if you can hear me and see me well. And I'm Tessa Manuelo. As you probably know, I'm the founder and the CEO of Lego Creatives, considered one of the world's pioneer in Lego design. And today I will be your host for this incredible event on the topic of comic contracts. I would love to know, where is everybody tuning in from? Where are you from in the world? Please, please, please let us know in the chat. We have Isabel Venegas, who is going to present today. Armel is a presenter as well. So nice to have you. We have Lara from Brazil. Happy you got to make it. This is great. So let's make this interactive. We are now live. And the great thing of a live event is that you can get to enjoy some networking. But the networking will only happen if you are actively participating in the chat. And so this is why I really, really encourage you to make the most of this event by being active, by commenting, leaving your questions, leaving your impressions, sharing also about who you are, what you do. What we love at Lego Creatives is to bring the community together. And those events are spaces for you also to get to know each other, for you to interact with each other, and also to get your questions answered when it comes to Lego design and innovation. So I see we have Monica from Spain. So nice to have you today, Monica. Thanks for being here. Marina, who will be presenting today from Brazil. We have Stanley from Hong Kong. Applause. It must be getting quite late in Hong Kong, so I want to give a special mention to you, Stanley. Anka from France, Dijon. We have Katsuren here with us, and we have Web Justicia from Spain. So this event is all about comic contracts, and I'd like to start this event by, before I tell you more about what's going to happen, I want to break the ice even more. I want to bring more engagement to make this even more fun. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little fun activity all together. Trust me, it's going to be super, super easy. So on my screen right now, you're going to see a poll for Menti, menti.com. Does anyone know menti.com? It's a phenomenal tool for having interactions. And what I want you to do right now is open a new web browser, or take your phone or your tablet and go to menti.com and type in this unique code to start having some interactions together. The code is 63741582, almost my date of birth. 63741582. So go to Menti, and you can also use the QR code, and you scan it with your phone. It's even easier. And there are 3 sets of questions I'd like to ask you. And so I see we have a lot of new people here, new audience attendees, and I want to welcome to all of you who are new to Lego Creatives event. And I'm excited you're part of this. I see we have 30% of repeat attendees, which is always nice to have you back. So let's continue interacting before I move to the second question. There are 3 questions on this poll, so stay with me on here. And so what about the people who have been to an event before? How do you like our events? I mean, why are you coming back? Why are you coming back? Let us know. I would be delighted to know. Oh, we have Robert Duro from Cape Town. Robert Duro made it live for the event. Isn't it fantastic? Robert Duro is one of the pioneers for comic contracts. And Robert, if you are available to improvise a little something, I can bring you on the studio. It's really easy. But please let me know in the comment section so I can send you the special link to join us in the studio. If you feel like it will be an honor, but no pressure. I'll let you decide. So the people who have been here with us before, some people are asking, what's the code again? Here's the code again. It's 63 74 15 82. Let me show the instructions right here for all of you. There are the instructions. So let's continue sharing a little bit about why you're coming back, or if you knew why you're joining today. Because my intention for this event is really to provide a space for all of us to share about what's happening in the world when it comes to innovation using legal design. And today's event is all about using visuals in contract in the form of comic. We are running those art galleries, as we call them, every 2 to 3 months. We already had an art gallery on digital privacy. That was 2 months ago. We had a previous art gallery where we got to showcase academy projects for the Instagram challenge, because we got to take the challenge to redesign the Instagram terms of use when they were updated and not using visuals. So we decided to contribute by showing what those terms could be using visuals. And so today it's all about comic contracts. So I see we have Natalie watching from Brazil. So nice. Natalie, Brazil, from Brazil. Oh, I know you. This is great. Stefano is asking how to join the studio. The studio is for the presenters only. But if Robert, since you're the pioneer, like, you are so much welcome in the studio, it would be an honor. Now, second question is, ever heard of comic contracts before? Some of you have heard, and you say they're super amazing for people to understand every clause. Others have never heard about comic contracts, but they can be useful to promote agility. Someone else I've never seen, and so today you're going to see quite a few of comic contracts, but you say it can be fun and inclusive. So interesting to have all of those interactions. You saw as a comic with figures and an example. This is great, and I see you are very curious. Less text, more picture, more icons, like a storyboard of a movie. Absolutely. And so the last question for you is, what do you expect from today's event? What do you expect from today's event? Hey, we have Karin here. So nice to see you interact in the poll and in the chat. I'm waiting for Robert to let us know. In a few words, what do you expect from today's event? You expect inspiration, innovation, networking, learning, and an amazing experience. So you're in the right place, because at Legal Creatives, that's our mission. Our mission is to make learning interactive, engaging, and that this learning experience will bring tangible outcomes. And today is a really special event, because you will see the work that has been produced by Academy members at Legal Creatives. They've been learning deeply legal design. They've been practicing the methodology in a very thorough way. And today they will be showing the tangible work that they have produced inside the Academy, taking this challenge that we call the Comic Book Contract Challenge. And so you will see different members present. They are legal professionals from all around the world. They have different backgrounds, different expertise, but they're coming together because they see, like you, that the future needs a new kind of experience of law, contracts, and legal documents. And legal design is a phenomenal tool to achieve this transformation. It's a human-centered approach. It's centered around understanding the needs of contract users in this case, but also the needs of litigants when they navigate the justice system. And it's also about using your creativity, our creativity that we all have. It's all in us. And using this creativity in order to come up with innovative solutions. And before we start, I'd like to say that I myself didn't consider myself a creative person until one day. I was in Paris at the time and I discovered improv. Does anyone know improv? Theatrical improvisation is the art of performing on stage without a script. And I was so struck by this thing that I didn't know existed. I really wanted to try. And I got to try improv and I got really hooked by the power of stories. And how much it is impactful to learn how to communicate better. Whether it's with words, there's so many other ways to communicate, right? And since that day, because I have a legal background like you, since that day I made this decision, how can I use this in law? How can it be useful? How can we merge those creative methodologies and approach in law? And it took me quite some time, 10 to 15 years, to be honest, to get to where I am today, investigating creative problem solving in the United States and in Toronto, Canada, and eventually doing this research and bringing those frameworks into the law. And so that's what we're going to do today. You're going to be able to see what's possible when we think creatively about the law. And so what's really excites me the most is that today's work is produced by legal professionals like you who believe there's a new way to deliver legal services and legal information. And so it's not a showcase of say, Tessa's work. It's the showcase of those great individuals and professionals. And some of them became experts in legal design because we're now certifying the ones that are more advanced and practicing the most. And you get to see what's really possible when we use this methodology. So any questions in the chat before we start officially this event? I'll see, I have Robert Duro who may be joining. So let me see, Robert. I'm going to send you an email right now. So look, this is all improv and I love it. So how do you feel about the event? Do you have any questions? The event is going to be about 2 hours. I really encourage you to stay for the 2 hours because you will see different types of comic contracts today. And by the end, we'll have an interactive conversation as well. Okay, so let me see. Let me see here what questions we have from you. All right. Let me see here if we have any questions. Let me see. Robert, I sent you the link, so you should have received it in your mailbox. It's very easy to join the studio. And talking about experts and pioneers, I want to show you a short video. I want to show a short video from an incredible researcher from Australia. She has investigated how we can use visuals in contract, especially the storytelling. And I like to call her the founding mother of comic book contracts. And I like to call Robert Duro the founding father of comic contracts. And so what's incredible about today's event is Camilla Anderson, who's professor at UVA in Australia. She recorded a short video for you all because in Australia it's getting quite late, so she couldn't make it live. However, we made the time this week to have a conversation about the event, and she accepted to record a short video to you all. So I want to show you this short video before we get started, and maybe before Robert is joining us inside the studio. Let's take a look at the kind words by Camilla Anderson.
Morning, depending on where in the world you are. Great to be able to talk briefly at this comic book contract challenge, which Tessa is hosting. What an exciting event it is. I'm Professor Camilla Anderson from University of Western Australia. Some of you may know me as the leader of the Comic Book Contract Project. For the last 5 years, we have churned out a lot of different contracts in this field, as have other colleagues. And it's very exciting to see interest accelerating in this field. Visual and comic contracts are central to the innovation of legal services, the humanization of the way that lawyers offer up our support in law and in contracts. And it's exciting to see so many people engaging with it. I look forward to looking at some of the projects that you're producing today. And I'm sorry I can't be there myself, but I promise you that Tessa and I will liaise in the future on other projects following on from this. So have fun, enjoy, and keep visualizing and innovating.
So after hearing from Camila Anderson, which I really encourage you to follow on LinkedIn and all social media, and to really see the work she's been doing. Well, now we have the founding father with us in the studio, Robert Deroe. I'm so excited. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Tessa.
So nice to be here all together with you. What a nice surprise. So, Robert, maybe you would like to introduce yourself to the audience. Maybe not everyone know who you are. So do you want to say a few words for everyone to know what you do, and maybe what got you started with comic contracts?
Thanks a lot for hosting this. I'm very pleased to see that how this is going forward. So yeah, my name is Robert Deroe. I'm an attorney based in Cape Town, South Africa, and so some years ago I was looking at how to improve contracts and started discovering the work of academics in the field like Helena Harpio and Tom Barton and other academics, and was inspired by the use of visualization. And then, given our inequality in South Africa and problems with illiteracy, etc., I started exploring how can we create contracts that can be understood by everyone. And then the idea came to me of using comics. And so over a process of a couple of years and quite a few prototypes, we eventually produced a comic contract that was used for seasonal farmers in South Africa, seasonal farm workers in South Africa in May 2016. And since then, in collaboration with people like Camila Anderson, who you've just heard of, and other people, Stefania Pacera and others, we've been promoting the idea of using comic contracts as a way of helping people understand contracts better, being more engaged to read contracts, and that way hopefully driving the success of contracts, having better relationships, better understanding of those contractual relationships. And obviously my focus remains on helping people that are vulnerable and illiterate.
Thanks so much, Robert, for being a part of this event and for all of this incredible work you have been doing. I am sharing now for everyone to see the work from Robert and this amazing comic contract that is a contract I always refer to in all of the trainings and even events, and every time when people see those contracts, and even when I saw this contract for the first time, I was just so astonished by the simplicity of it, but also the precision, because I have really studied more in depth this contract, especially because of the event we have today. And as I was mentoring the Academy members, I really wanted to really dive deeper into the methodology for creating comic contracts, or at least the features. And I realized it's actually very precise. I don't know if I can show an example, but here you have like precise numbers as to what is expected from the fruit pickers in the company. And you have like, like great storytelling. Do you want to share a little bit more, Robert, about your journey creating this contract? What was the most challenging thing, and what was the most rewarding thing at the end for you?
Yeah, so this particular contract you're showing was literally the first comic contract that we produced. And so the way we went about it at the time was to ask the farmer to provide us with their existing contract, the existing text contract. And then we looked at it, and we first had to clean up that text contract and make sure that we clearly understood what they intended with that contract. And that in itself was already an interesting exercise, because the farmers had been using that text agreement and never really studied the exact terms that they were busy effectively enforcing on some of their farm workers. So we cleaned up the contract and we tried to simplify it. We tried to make it more logical, more chronological. And once we had an agreement on the content of that, we then proceeded to with a comic contract process, which basically amounted to writing a script to try and find to describe what it is that we see and how these contractual terms could be represented. And that we wrote the script, and then we did some rough drawings. And as it is it's a design exercise, so you need to obviously check it with users. You've got to keep your users in mind. And so as we started doing the rough drafts, checking it with the customer, making sure that we are getting it right, that we are getting it right from a cultural point of view, that we are getting it right from an aspirational point of view. And then eventually, once you have agreement on those pictures, you then proceed to the inks and the colors and the finishing off the final product. Because what is important, especially in our view when you're dealing with vulnerable people, is that it has to look good. It has to be a quality product. You want to dignify those people with something that shows that you care about the fact that they understand the content of the agreement. And I worked with a company called Gincom. It's a company based here in South Africa, and they really helped to generate this really high quality product.
Thanks so much, Robert, for sharing about your story. I have two questions. One is, did you know at the time that this was considered legal design? Because I believe it's Helena Hapio who coined the word legal design. So maybe it was at the same time. I'm curious to know, because when I started with creativity, and I didn't know legal design was a thing. I just discovered in 2016 the term. So I would be curious to know from your perspective. And then we have a question from the audience that I believe is very relevant, from Velagapudi in India, mentioning that judges and tribunals feel like legal matters are serious matters. And I think they are, right? But there is no place for comics in law practice. Accepting comic is not a comedy, but accepting lines in place of text construed as extraneous input. How do you justify comics in law?
Okay, can I just answer your first question first regarding the term legal design? I think Helena Hapio would agree that the term legal design was actually coined by a Swiss academic called Colette Brunswick quite a few years ago. At the time when I was doing the work, I wasn't really, I wasn't too conscious of this concept of legal design. I'm using the term now because I've subsequently learned that. But as I said, you kind of emerge into this field, and we all are all learning from each other. So that's really on that term. Regarding the question from Village, yes, it's the term comic contracts is not, the word comic is not intended to convey something that is funny or not serious. It is a technical term that describes how one uses images together with words to convey meaning and to convey information. There's a definition of comics by a writer called Scott McCloud that defines that, and it's in that context that I use the word comic. I do 100% recognize the concern of Village regarding using or the apprehension one feels about judges not, being apprehensive about using or recognizing comic contracts. But in that regard, Camilla Anderson, who you heard about earlier, had hosted a conference back in 2017, and where she invited the Chief Justice of Australia, and who looked at the exact comic contract that you saw earlier, and was quite unequivocal about the fact that they would look at judges would look at a comic contract the way they look at any other contract. Is it clear? Does it convey the meaning? And to the extent that it might not, you can use the same rules of interpretation as currently apply to all the other contracts, which are so often the subjects of disputes because of ambiguity, etc.
Thanks, Robert, for answering the questions, for being here. And it also answers Monica's question about validity. And it just reflects that this shift is a shift of perspective, but also a mindset shift. It's about understanding that there are new possibilities now to deliver contractual and legal information, given we have new methodologies available, such as legal design, but there's agile and there's design thinking and creative problem solving, and new tools as well. And the fact that we are living now in a world where we have this information overload, and we all lacking time. The fact that we're able to present the information in a more effective way can foster, and I think it has been proven that it does foster the right contractual behaviors. So it increases the performance, it increases the compliance, and the contract becomes a real tool for the business, not just a legal tool. So that's my understanding from your work, Robert, and this impressive contract you created for Clement Gold. And now we'll start to see what our Academy members have been able to create using this methodology that we now call legal design. And I hope, Robert, you're going to be able to stay with us a little bit. You can stay in the studio and we can continue to chat in between presentations. I've done this in the past. It's quite fun. If you have some obligations, I totally understand and respect that, and want to thank you for your time and for being here and for being interested in this event and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. So I really, really am extremely grateful, and I'm sure the participants will agree with me. And by the way, if to all of you watching live, if you feel this is useful, please share it with your colleagues and network. You can easily share on LinkedIn or wherever you're watching now. Just let your colleagues know, because today is going to be a very insightful event. Very, very, very innovative kind of event, because we are really pushing creativity to the max with this challenge. And so I'm really excited to invite the presenters to join us. So Robert, I want to thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you be a part of this event, whether in the studio or on the live stream. But I'd love for you to stay if you can. Thank you so much, Robert.
I'll stay as long as I can.
And so now that we have had this amazing kickoff of the event with an expert in the field, now you're going to get to see real tangible work that has been produced by Academy members. So each team is composed of a legal professional from different jurisdictions, different countries. Some are in Europe, others are in South America, some are in Africa. And they have been working together as a team, as a small team, in order to implement their learnings of the legal design methodology to create a tangible contract, or at least a prototype of a possible comic contract. They will be presenting for 15 minutes each. And I would encourage all of you who are watching live to leave your comments and questions, even as they present, to make this interactive. I believe the first team is coming from Europe and Africa, with two team members that are Francophone. So I don't know which language they're going to use. I think it's going to be a mix of English and French. We'll see. They have been very invested in this challenge, trying to really apply the methodology to create a tangible contract. And so I will invite to the stream Dora Ahar. Dora Ahar, hello.
Hello, Tessa. Hello, everyone.
And I'm going to invite now Armel Lemoine. I don't have your full name, Lemoine Daudet. Here you are. Just design. Hello, Armel.
Hello, everybody.
So if you want, I can stay with you for the English. I mean, you know how to do that in English as well, but whatever makes you comfortable. And so we'll just have you start with your contract.
So just before Tessa, we would like to introduce our work, because it's a special work for us as a lawyer. And I give the mic to Armel to introduce the team.
Yes, thank you, Dora. So I am Armel. I'm a legal counsel in France, in Brittany, and I work in social law and compliance. And I'm just creating Just Design. And I've worked with Dora, who will present herself.
Thank you, Armel. Hello, everyone. I'm Dora from Tunisia. I'm a lawyer and the founder of LegalD. And I'm also a certified expert practitioner in legal design. And today we have the pleasure to present you our work, our comic book contract. So, Armel,
yes.
tell us more.
I continue. Our purpose is to give access to the law to everybody, to make your rights clearer, and by using legal design methodology. So we applied with Dora to the comic book challenge with great pleasure. We wanted to have fun, but very seriously. Dora, you can continue with the roadmap.
Yes, the roadmap, we follow a roadmap. Yes. This is the process, because every work in legal design, we apply a process. So first of all, we choose the contract that we want to redesign, and we use a survey with startups, with a new entrepreneur, to know what are their important contracts they need to understand more. And with the respondent, they answer us that it was the employment contract, and we didn't expect that. So and it was a real surprise, and we decided to choose a special contract, an employment contract. It was the remote work contract. After that, we choose.
Dora.
Yes.
For those who don't know what is the remote work contract, I have to explain that. It's a contract, employment contract, to organize the relations between the employer and the employee, but it's work at home, because the COVID have changed the work forever. So we decided to go in this
to adapt, yes,
in
to
this
be
okay.
With this new circumstance, who change all our habits also in the work. So after Armel, so what are the clauses that we choose?
We choose to design the most important clause of this contract, the work condition.
Just 1 second to finish the process. Yes.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Continue, Armel.
So so we create characters. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of ideas, but it was we choose at least, and we create a story. We sketch a prototype, and we design the comics. And after we made some user tests, and now is the presentation. Also, we wanted to add that Tessa helped us with 3 mentoring sessions and a tool session, and she gave us her feedback. So now we present you.
Okay, discover the remote contract in comic standard. So this is Mary, which is we will tell you the story about Harry, who will discover the new remote work contract.
Hi, I'm Mary. Hi, I'm Mary, the CEO of the new legal agency. CEO is the director. As you know, the impact of COVID-19 for workers was significant. It changed our habits, and we discovered the work at home. To adapt our employees with the new way of working, we asked our lawyer to craft a remote work contract.
And after a month, it's too long, Mary discovered the contract, and she said,
sorry. Can you continue to say, because my
yes.
computer is not good. Sorry.
Okay, I continue. So she said, oh my God, the contract is too long and too complicated and no one will understand it. But she's lucky because she knows LegalD and Just Design, who will give her the solution with the comic book contract. So this is a discussion between Mary and a representative of Legal D and Just Design, and we will present our remote work contract. And Mary is surprised, but because she never hear about the comic book contract. So this is the story of the Harry. Armel, you can continue, please.
Maybe now. At the Human Resource Office, tell me, Henry, what do you think if you take 3 days per week in remote work?
Wow, well, Philip, yes, I'm ready to try something new. And I'm thinking that it will be very funny because I could make my conf call from my kitchen or my bedroom, for example. It seems easy.
Okay, you should respect some conditions. First, your accommodation must be fit out and in accordance with certain rules as hygiene, security, quiet place.
Okay, it seems easy to respect.
Also, you should know that we can control the workplace in your home to be sure that all the conditions are respected, especially for the electrical installation.
Wow. And the employer representative can visit my home at any time?
No, we inform you the hour and the date before the control visit. Oh, other thing very important to know.
What is it?
If the remote work conditions are not respected, the contract is terminated.
Oh my God. And Mary, what
Very
she
good
said?
words, girls. Now I can tell to my team. Laura?
Keep calm and work at home. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is great. Thank you so much for your presentation, Dora and Armel, presenting in a foreign language, a comic book contract. I mean, that's very impressive. So I want to congratulate you for your dedication, for your work. You've been reading the contract as well for us to understand it better, which is so nice of you that you're making the effort. I see we had some interesting comments in the chat. Employment law in the US, that is very relevant. And they are the greatest source of litigation. I see Anka would be interested to talk about employment contracts in the US as well. So how does everybody feel? I see Marina is congratulating. We have Robert with us. Maybe Robert, you want to join and say a few words. I see, I'm going to bring Robert here with us. I see we have Vela Kapudal, who's very active with us. Thank you so much for those really insightful comments. Robert, any comments on words of advice for our challengers?
I mean, I think, I think you really tried to do a lot, and, I must congratulate you because you not only kind of visualized, represented the contract term as a dialogue between the contracting parties, you also added this other dimension of a storyline as to how this happened. And I mean, that's really interesting, that you even added that extra dimension. And so fantastic. I think any person that sees that will be strongly engaged. And I think it also makes, it makes what would otherwise be a very stressful thing, as in discussing a contractual term, easy. And I think that is respectful. It forms a good relationship, which is really the purpose of common contracts. Really, you want to have a successful relationship, and it makes it easy. So well done. Well
Thank
done.
you
Very
so
good.
much, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to move to the next team, but I wanted to congratulate Dora and Armel and say that I think this story is very interesting, this storyline you have created. So congratulations, all right? And by the way, to all and every one of you, we'll be having those contracts in the art gallery for people to be able to read them more in details. So Dora and Armel, make sure to share the last version with me so we can post them in the art gallery for people to read them. Thank you so much, Dora and Armel. Now, Robert, we're going to have another presentation with a duo from Spain and Canada. So we're going to see another type of contracts. Every team is choosing the contract they want to work on. So we invited everyone to choose what they wanted to work on. And I think our next presenters are going to do another kind of contract. So we have Marty Firestone from Canada, who's joining us today.
Hi, can everyone hear me okay?
Very well.
Okay, good. Excuse me.
And Isabel Venega, who is a
Hello.
Chilean lawyer based in Barcelona.
Hi, can you see me and hear me well?
Very well.
Nice, great.
And so we'll let you present. You can present yourself a bit more and present your work as well for 15 minutes, and we'll take a look. So thanks for being here, and I can't wait to see what you have produced.
Perfect.
We can wait to see what
Great.
you have produced.
Okay, thanks. So we're just going to pop in here. So, excuse me, I lost my voice this week. So my name is Marty Firestone. I'm in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. I'm a lawyer and a legal designer. I run my own shop called Legal Adjacency. And Ontario is a common law jurisdiction.
Hi, I'm Isabel Venegas. I'm a Chilean lawyer living in Barcelona. I'm a legal project manager and an expert legal designer certification from Legal Creatives.
Yeah. And so as you can see, we've done a photo and video release. So thanks, Tessa, for the opportunity to present today. So what we've done is taken what we'll call the typical boring, lawyerly, especially North American style, photo waiver and release for an event. So an event participant is giving up a whole bunch of rights, allowing the entity putting on the event to take and use pictures and video and recordings of them. So and we're going to Quentin Tarantino or Christopher Nolan, pick your favorite director of this, by showing you the actual comic at first, and then we're going to go back and sort of build on this solution. So what we've got here is a story that I better do a better job sharing my screen, that sort of covers Espanada, which is a company in both Canada and Spain that is doing a live and in-person virtual event. And so this event is going to be done both sides of the Atlantic at the same time, and they wanted a document that could be signed by and put in front of every employee. So everyone we present the document, whether it is the dock workers or warehouse workers, because our avatar here is Espanada, which is a logistics company, or the CEOs and the executives. And excuse me. So now I'm going to go into a little about our design element first through the story. So what we've started with is that we've introduced who the parties are. So you have, and that there's a contract being formed between them. So we have Espanada being described here, and then this would be presented an employee who's either going to the event in person or virtually. It'd be the same document. And so this covers some of the elements in terms of the live stream's going to be recorded, that if your microphone or camera on, that's going to be picked up. If you're there, there'll be a live stream and pictures taken at the live event itself if an attendee was going to go to that. Then we can get into a bit of a story. And so the story is the way to explain to the user of the contract, who is the event attendee, sort of the obligations and rights and responsibilities that they'd be, or maybe not responsibilities, but the rights they'd be assigning or waiving in favor of Espanada. So we have this dialogue, this sort of narrative explaining, so it becomes a little bit of meta, where it's sort of similar. We have a character who's attending the event and is given the form and has some questions, wondering and getting information. So we bring in this character who represents the company, and they're sort of explaining things almost one by one on the major points. And you notice from a design element, we are a bit text heavy, and that's because we didn't want to, given the user base we have, to go too visual, because we didn't want them to feel insulted. And Isabel's going to speak a little more towards the sort of those concerns and sensitivities in a moment. But coming back to the visuals, so we are leaning more towards text heavy, but we still tried to do it in a broken up way of not having too much text within each panel. And you see we have each character has their own color for the dialogue, so it's a little easier to track who is speaking and what they're speaking about. And then we kind of go through the story, through the elements, and we try to plug in a little bit of humor here. Maybe I'll just focus on this one, where we take a jab at the typical contract that lawyers have. So we say, oh, you should have seen that, what the lawyers wanted us to sign, it was a book. And then we sort of show this like evil characters enjoying the fact that the original release would have been 40 pages, 6-point font, no margins. But just sort of coming to the end, we turn back away from the story to the user and show, okay, are you going to permit the company to use your name, image, and likeness in the pictures as explained in the release? And then we say, remember. So we want to draw their attention back to some of the major points about this. And we did get from our feedback where we heard a lot where it wasn't clear from a traditional release form what happens if you go to the event but don't allow the use of your image. So we created this infographic that has what happens if you don't sign and sign. And so we talk about what the implications of each ones are, and we key into that the release cannot be revoked once it is signed. And then we have sort of a signature page here, which can be done by e-signature or in paper. So that in a nutshell is the design. And now we'll turn it over to Isabel to walk us through some more of the show. Isabel? Isabel, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yes, now I'm here.
Okay. Okay, great. No problem.
Now, can you see the presentation?
No. Do you want me to pull it up?
What about now?
It's loading up. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to talk about a little bit about the backstage of this project that we did with Marty. As Marty said before, this is a company event. This is a typical annual company event for an international company. This is a logistic company. The event will be celebrated both on-site and online. In order to understand and to use our legal design methodology, we started with the empathize phase, where we actually identified the problem and a little bit about the background and the solution of this issue. The problem is actually, it's a problem that's very common in many international companies where you host these very nice events, and then you end up with not being able to use the photographs and the media and all the information you actually, and all the pictures and all the fun stuff that you do in these events, because people won't sign these forms because they're very legalese, are very long, and because of our actually characteristics of our users. In terms of the background, as many of you know, Barcelona is a very international community where there's a lot of foreign companies here, and it's a very nice place to have these kind of events. And we wanted to give this real life kind of sense. That's something that many companies can actually relate to and use these kind of contracts. So as Marty said before, the solution will be more on the side of providing a document that's actually easy to read, a document that's friendly, and a document that actually explains by itself. So what we did here is that we first started building our users' personas in the define phase. So we came up with two main characters. One is Mark, another is Bianca. Mark is our like user hero here. And he's a guy who works in the logistics department. He's somebody who is a professional who doesn't have time to check their emails very often. He's not very keen to read a very long form. He's not very much into gadgets and stuff like that. He just wants to go to the event and have fun. But he has some concerns about understanding the kind of obligations and the outcome that's come with these kind of events. Then we have Bianca, who is the chief happiness officer of the company, who's in charge of having everyone on board with signing the form and explaining the main features of this document.
And just as about sort of the problem definition stage, so one thing we did do is we did some role playing. And so we had Isabel play the role of, call it the client in this, because she has a work background. Maybe you'll speak more to that in terms of having to gather the traditional legal form. We did a role play where I interviewed Isabel to sort of capture her needs from a problem definition statement. But we make sure that we understood that she wasn't the ultimate user, and that would be the actual employee. And so that's where we created sort of our avatar, our heroes, if you will, in terms of Mark as an avatar for sort of the workers at this company, which would be in Canada, the US, and they'd be from different sort of levels of education and work caliber. And so when we had that in mind, we then went to sort of this ideation stage and we went to sort of the prototyping and the ideation, and we thought, okay, we're going to do a release. Let's get what people liked and didn't like about the traditional form. So we took a traditional event photo release form. We took the North American style that had covenants not to sue, copyright assignment in the event, or a license in the event that the person had any rights in the pictures being taken. We put that out there and got a lot of feedback that it was intimidating. It was complex, but at the same time, people said they would sign it. We did ask the question, would you sign it? And then we got into, did it make it clear? So we learned that it had to be less intimidating. It had to be more engaging, as Isabel said. And so that's where we went to our prototyping stage. And what we did is we broke it down into that sort of the elements of that contract. If we took that as verboten, as this is what needs to be in the document, and we broke it down, as you could see, in these little virtual stickies in Miro to sort of lay out our panels, organize the narrative in terms from a contract, and then we layered in our story. So that's how we did our initial prototype, which was this Miro board. Then we went into our comic design, where we sort of did a lot of the more design elements, and we refined our speech as our text as we went. So now Isabel's going to speak more about our testing and user acceptance and our UX research that we did on both the before and call it this prototype and after.
We use a very intensive testing approach for this challenge because we wanted to get actually what the users are concerned about, what they really want, and what they really need. So we conducted a series of tests. We used a sample of 8 users. First, we started testing the traditional photo release form, this very long legalese kind of document, as Marty described before. And we got this kind of feedback saying that it was actually very confusing, very scary, wordy, too technical. Intimidating was the word actually showed the most. And sensible, complex, and very long in terms of understandable. This was actually from the 8 users. I think it was like more like 5 or 6 people who actually would not sign the document as the way it was actually drafted for general purposes as a normal legalese document. So after we actually got that feedback, we started testing our prototype, our comic prototype. And it was much, much better. As you can see, the words that they used to describe it was inclusive, harmonic, clear. Some people find it a little bit long, but as we explained before, we wanted to have everything put there in the comic book. We didn't have to actually to refer to a privacy policy or all the documents that actually nobody does when they read the document. They just want to have everything in one place. Many people said it was easier to read, that it was clear, that it was colorful, and it was actually entertaining.
Yeah, and our user base, we had different. We had one set of testers, user testers for the traditional legalese. We had primarily a second set of testers for the comic document, because we didn't want to have a bias where they saw the before and the after, or if they were in the after stage, saw the before. And we had people from different skill sets, different, both in Canada, the US, Germany, and Spain. So we did go global. I don't think we have time to get into how we found those users, but where do we go from here? So this essentially is our second prototype that we showed you. And what we took away from it was a little bit about the length. So we did try to address that by putting it into a flip book. So the flip book we had in the beginning didn't exactly, wasn't shown to the users, so they sort of got sort of much bigger panel approach. But I think what we do is, if this was a real world project, is go into, sit down with the designer, because we're not graphic designers, and this is our first rodeo doing a comic contract,
Exactly.
but we would sort of look for their take to see how could we compress some of the length, just because some people were concerned, oh, this may actually take longer, although they didn't time themselves and we didn't time them to read in the traditional form that I guess some people are just used to skipping and just signing anyways. So now if you're curious to see this offline, so Isabel, if you want to jump through to the QR codes, because I'm just sort of looking at our timer and I think we've got 20 seconds left. So there's two versions. The Hazing QR code allows you to look at that flipbook style, and Pixton is the software that we used to make the comic. So it's really much a drag and drop and change features, and that's what we use for the comic, and you could see it in that presentation. So when Isabel and I come back to the YouTube live feed, we'll be able to put links to those as well if you don't have a camera and can't do the QR code. So thanks very much for your time, and this was our photo release done in a comic book style.
What an incredible piece of work you have done here. Marty and Isabel, congratulations. Robert, I see how did you like this contract? What did you like about it, Robert?
I found really interesting about it is the way you contextualize the contract with this story that leads up to the actual contracting part, and the fact that they then sign to the terms. So I think it's really nice. You know, one of the key objectives with a comic contract is, or even it's necessary, is that the people need to identify with those characters. And you know, you've chosen two characters. They've interacted, and so you feel like you can identify with those characters, which then allows you to bind yourself to those terms. And as you saw on your user feedback, it overcame obstacles. It overcame people's resistance to agreeing to something. So yeah, congratulations. I think it's really interesting, lovely. I learned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. And I have a question. Because some audience participants are asking how much time did it take for you, or does it take in general? I would imagine it took quite some time. Do you want to share a little bit more about maybe like it was your first time, so probably it took much longer. What if you were to do this another time? And do you consider to actually create more comic contracts, like deliver as a service? Because you've put a lot of work into this.
There's a lot of questions.
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll talk to just Isabel for what we should talk first in terms of our approach and how we started with this, and just because that took some time. So do you want to take that point?
Okay, we started the ideation process very early on. We were really mindful of time, so we scheduled a very disciplined work schedule. We actually make time every week for an hour to discuss the main issues that we encountered that week. We were actually trying and testing different tools and different, Pixton. We tried with Canva. We tried with Storyboard that. We played around a lot. It was a very fun, actual activity because we get to play and to experiment in different stages. We have very fluent communication. We got along very well as a team. I think this is something that I love to do it with Marty because he's super creative, and it was great synergies between the two of us in order to get to the main goal. And I think it was all about being engaged and being committed with the challenge and using an approach that was actually useful for both of us. I think it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I think it may have taken hours, but it was easy and fun work. Like, it didn't seem like work. Even going through the design and trying to storyboard it and break things down into segments, it's a lot better than some of the other work I do in my day-to-day with the legal hat on. So it was much better to do that. But what we'll confess, we didn't get through the entire agreement. So there's some components that didn't get in there, and that was in the interest of time. So we kind of then went to the end, as opposed to filling out some of the other items that might have been in this release form. So we were cognizant of the time, but we wanted to make sure, so we have a lot of the middle, but make sure we had a good beginning and a really good end in terms of the setting this context for the agreement, having the signature page, that reminder piece. In terms of going forward, I would definitely put this to clients as an option again. I think we've seen some of the questions so far, there's some reticence to the comic contract, sort of hesitant to make that leap. So perhaps an infographic might be more applicable, or someone may like an explainer instead. So you have the traditional form, but then you have an explanatory document. And I think that's a little more in sort of, call it the typical lawyer mindset, sort of not to insult my colleagues over the bar, but I think it's just we're entrenched in that tradition. So maybe the explainer is that bridging the gap in some cases, but having had this competition, now we've got something that we could show, and it could spark an interest in someone. And when we have our actual feedback, now that we could point them to our research. So I think we would definitely want to do it again. But it takes probably no more time than rewriting a contract that you took from a template and making it really good for the user. Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure. Yeah.
You mentioned, Marty, that you were still text heavy because you didn't want people to feel insulted. What was the user feedback in that regard? What informed that concern?
So Isabel, I will let you speak to that, because that was something,
We really tried to make a very well-rounded user persona for this challenge. So we base our characteristic in the people I actually met before in previous past job experiences in my case. And I've seen that this for example, Mark, one of our heroes, is not somebody who has actually issues reading a document or legal document, somebody who doesn't have the time because of the work, because he is always moving around, and because it's not like we wanted to infantilize the approach. We wanted to make them more easier for them to read in a faster way, and to see more images in terms of their own work responsibilities. It's not something like they have issues reading something in a very long form. Also because of cultural issues. This is a company that's based in Barcelona. People in Barcelona actually are Catalan speakers. They only use Spanish for work sometimes. This is an international company. So we didn't want to present them something like it was too long to read, or also too much only images and not text. I mean, they can read a contract, but they just don't have the time for it. And we wanted to also set the mood for them to actually come to the event. So presenting a comic book, we actually make it more friendly and more engaging, also because it was a family event as well. So they can bring their kids with them, and the level of concern would actually be less than if they were not doing that. So we tried to bring all these into the table and to come up with something that was like in a middle ground.
And something that Isabel had mentioned when we were in the earlier stages about sort of the Catalan culture and the Barcelona culture is that, so if we take so this was a logistics company. So if we take their warehouse workers, they're very pro-union, very skeptical about signing anything that the company wants them to sign. But if it was there's some pride there. So if we had purely images, our concern is that they would feel insulted that the company was sort of looking at them as being very low educated, sort of not very smart, and so here we have to make it so simple that this is something that a kid would use. for you. And so they would take that as insulted. So that's really informed a lot of sort of going to text and having the text. But I think I will confess it was easier for us to, in our first instance, to not go completely illustrative, but still have some text. Yeah, there. So, yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Okay.
There were some comments in the chat, people, and including me, wanting to see a bit more the details. So I hope
we'll drop it. Yeah, when we go back to the YouTube live stream, we'll drop those in the YouTube chat, the links to that, so everyone could see. Yeah.
This is great. Well, thank you so much, Marty and Isabel, for this mind-blowing presentation.
Thank you again, Tessa, for putting this on and giving us this chance. And thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Make sure to leave your contact information in the chat, and we'll showcase you because this is really impressive. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
And thanks, Isabel. Thanks, Robert, for staying with us. Are you enjoying this event so far?
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm enjoying to see the creative, and everyone's bringing something new. You know, there's lots to learn.
This is great. This is great. I'm happy you're part of this. And now we're going to see another international team present an insurance contract, or at least a section of the contract, because I talked to them and like insurance is quite complex, right? So we'll see what Vanessa Lopez has created with the team, with Fernanda Borges and Anthony Charles, Cecilia Ferrari. So we have a big team here. Hi, everybody. How is everybody feeling today?
Good.
Amazing. So we look forward to hearing from you. I'll let you present, and we'll be in backstage watching your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will share the screen. Wait, please.
Hi, everybody.
Maybe you'd like to introduce yourself, Anthony, and everybody else.
Okay. If I may start, and then I pass the torch to the girls. Hi, everyone. Bonjour, hola todos. For purposes of the time, we will keep in English. My name is Anthony. I'm a Brazilian insurance attorney, and I am researching legal design and insurance. And this is where the idea came from. I even spoke to Robert DeRoy about it to check with him if he had ever prepared or seen comic contracts about insurance. And well, Fernanda, if you would like to introduce yourself. I even spoke to Robert DeRoy about it to check with him if he ever prepared.
Could you see the screaming that I am showing?
We can't see the presentation yet.
Yes, you can see it's that I'm showing the presentation. I'm Fernanda. I'm a lawyer and a business mediator. And I'm working in legal design because I want to do more legal design in my enterprise, that's a legal tech. So continue, girls. Vanessa, Cecilia? Can you hear me?
All right, Vanessa, would you like to present yourself? I think someone has the live stream on the device. Can you please just stick to the studio for the presenters? Because if you have the live stream and the studio, it will bring some interference. So please close the live stream if you're Vanessa, Fernanda, Anthony, Cecilia. Vanessa, would you like to present yourself a little bit?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I am Vanessa. I am a legal project manager and independent consultant about legal innovation here in Spain, where I live. And like I have you said, I am an independent consultant in legal innovation, and I am so interested in the simplicity of the law. And that's because I am in this challenge and getting deep into legal design.
Thank you. Cecilia is from Argentina. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes. Hi there. I'm quite sure you are enjoying this challenge. And from now on, our presentation, let me introduce myself. I'm Cecilia. I got my degree as business lawyer as 25 years ago at Law and Social School, Buenos Aires University. Since then, I work on my own and currently head my law boutique firm.
This is great. Thank you for being here. And I'll let you present your work for this challenge.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let me start. Why did we choose insurance? Insurance contracts and documents are heavily filled with technical jargon, so it is really difficult. If you could move to the first slide, please. But the first one, thank you. Okay, this is our Inside of Comic contract, our team. Why did you choose insurance? Because insurance documents are complicated. We had an UX questionnaire, and the answers were that insurance policies are very large, the clauses are not clear, the legal aspects should be thought again, and it is really difficult to understand what is covered and what is not covered. And we got a funny answer that said that even the insurers' employees sometimes do not understand what the policies are about. At least this is people's perspective. And thinking about how legal design could improve the situation, we believe that it can reduce the churn, it can improve the consumer satisfaction, and it can also increase the consumer adherence to the contract. Here, thinking about KPIs or OKRs to the application of legal design to insurance. And as we pointed in the start, in the starting, we did not see yet comic contracts about insurance. We have picked a piece of the contract because the whole insurance contract would be extremely long. So we picked the policy deck, which contains the main information. And as you see here, it is a family life insurance, including coverage related to COVID-19, because we want this to be real. And it is a difficult to read and not user-friendly contract, and the structure of the insurance products is complicated because you have general, special, and particular conditions, and you have the special conditions modifying the general conditions, and the particular conditions modifying both the special and the general conditions. So you have to go through the whole document, 100 pages, to really be able to understand what is covered and what is not. So we've embarked in this journey and composed this Ibero-American team, and we are pleased to show you a bit of our work. Thank you. I think it is Cecilia right now.
No, Vanessa?
Okay, I'm going to explain something about our process. First of all, we try to understand the challenge situations and the stakeholders. Like Anthony has said, an insurance contract is a very hard contract. That's because we tried to find the ideal person for our product. After that, we design a map on the users, and after that, we prototype different solutions. The next step was testing prototype with users, and Cecilia will explain this to you. And the process feedback, edit, prototype, and vet them. That's what you are going to see. And if you can pass the next slide, please, Fernanda. Of course. First of all, we try to scratch in Miro, and we had some good ideas, some bad ideas, some mad ideas. But this was a good step because with Miro we could find the ideal person for our comic contract. We used another tools, of course, social media, of course, because we live in different countries. We need to speak a lot. And after that, we use 3 other tools: Powtoon, Pixel, and Canva. All of these, we did the different prototypes with each tool. And of course, you can pass the slide. Fernanda, can see? Of course, this was the challenge. Like Anthony said, an insurance contract, it's so hard to read. It has thousands of words, and it doesn't has a good unstable. It isn't easy to read. This was our challenge, the main challenge for us to with only a few cartoons and a few words, simple words, and plain language to make understandable the contract for the rest of the people, for our person, in fact. And if you can pass the next slide, please. And this was the ideal person that we decided. It is a family with a husband and his spouse. They are in their 30s, 40s, between 35 and 40 years old, because we thought it is the age that most of the people think about to contract a life insurance. They have two children, Felipe with 10 years old and Candela 8 years old. Both of them are under 18 years old, and that's because they are dependent of their parents, and we wanted to show the dependency of these kids from their parents and the problem that will be caused by an eventual COVID sickness or COVID death. And this is everything by now. Now, Cecilia, please, can you follow this?
Yes. Yes. Hello. Well, regarding our presentation, we made 3 prototypes using different tools such as Pautum, Pixton, and Canvas. All the 3 were sent to 25 possible users for testing them. Yes? From the rows as the most understandable and friendly, the one made in Pixton. Having into account the result, we made some changes and presented it again for the final testing. Well, the tool we used to get that data was a small survey through WhatsApp sent to friends, workers, and family who met our person's requirements in the age range of 35 to 50 with kids, professionals, and middle class. The question by X is, well, will you hire family life insurer as shown in the presentations? Parties are easily identified. The contract is easy to understand. Will you have a contract issue like a comic, or do you prefer a typical one? So the result was that 75% will do it, while 25% said they don't feel themselves identified with the comic presentation. They don't think it is trustworthy. So our work is to pursue this 25% that the comic contract is like the traditional ones. It reflects all terms and conditions of the policy, but easier to read.
Hey, Cecilia, I'm not sure we can hear you well, or maybe it's me.
Okay, so
Cecilia, I'm not sure if it's me. I don't know if you can let me know. Anthony, Fernanda, maybe you want to help because it's difficult to hear, right?
It is freezing to me as well. Maybe Cecilia can join us again in StreamYard. Cecilia.
Can you please help a little bit with the presentation? And when the internet is better for Cecilia, I think your internet has some problem. Thank you.
Well, let's just move on from that part where we collected data. So 75% of the users found the prototype friendly and easy to read and understand. And this was our goal. And 25, unfortunately, did not identify with the comic contract. If you can, please move to the other slide. And then moving to the final phase of this process, this design process, we have received the feedback. I can't see the presentation anymore. But we have processed the feedback and edited it and then vetted them.
It's because I will show the presentation.
Oh, okay, sorry. It is because I was looking at the last slide.
Yeah,
sorry.
you are not see because I will show the presentation.
Okay.
We did the presentation on Pixton, so I will show the tool that's Pixton and how we'll do the presentation. And I will enter here in the presentation. Everyone can see. So Pixton is really friendly to use, and you can change everything like background. You can choose a background and change if you want. Look. But we choose a background that is friendly to present all the family for you and what they are looking for. And here you can change the characters. If I want to edit the characters, we have outfits. I can change the focus, what they are doing, the positions. I can change the face, the actions, and the words they are telling, okay? So I will put here, I'm done, and I will share to present all the comic for you. So here we have a family that is worried about the insurance and want to take a funeral assistance for COVID contract for that. They are presenting themselves and saying that they want to sign a contract for COVID assistance, and they are looking for the best company for do that. And here they say what kind of clause they want to in the contract, and going to the company. And the guy is telling them how is the product, the period of grace, and they are talking what's better for them in the case of the contract they are looking for. And he is asking for them what they need in the contract, if they need additional coverage, okay? They want to know about the expenses, if cover funeral assistance or medical assistance, and if have this kind of the contract disponible on the market. And the guy is explaining that it's now we have this kind of contract disponible only in Brazil. We have 6 companies in Brazil doing this kind of contracts since 2020. So are 6 companies, and this market is growing 21%. since last year, since April last year. And they are talking about what they need to do and the clauses, the documentation, about the premium, about the payment, and about the renewal, about how the company can refuse you the payment, the grace of period. And he explained to that these companies can take a period of grace or not. It's a free period of grace, and the methods for payment. So the agreement and to do this contract, and we did a kind of contract for you do. It's just an example. I hope that you can see that example of life insurance for COVID. And they sign. So they are happy because they get what they want. And this is our work. Thank you a lot. I hope that you enjoy and vote for us.
Thank you so much for presenting, Fernanda, Anthony, Vanessa, Cecilia. I'll bring Robert with us to the live stream as well. Robert DeRoe, thanks for staying with us. What a beautiful teamwork you have done. I wonder, Cecilia, if all of the family contributed to the comic as well. So nice to have everybody join. So I don't know, maybe Robert, you have a question or a comment to the team.
Yes, yeah, nice to see you, Anthony. We've been corresponding about insurance contracts. It was also our experience that with insurance companies, your biggest challenge initially is to actually get clarity from the insurance people themselves as to what the clauses in their policies mean. You know, even the experience of, you know, once you try and convert these clauses into the more transparent comics, it really exposes what those terms mean, and you know, we've certainly found that even internally in an insurance company, there's not, you know, they realize that they didn't understand it in exactly the same way. So, you know, you guys were brave. It's a difficult topic, difficult contract to tackle, and yeah, I think well done. You know, you guys have engaged with it very strongly and used tools, and yeah, well done.
Well, thanks, Robert. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of dedication and work. Does the audience have some question for the team? This was an international team with Brazil and Argentina and Spain. I see Marty's congratulating the group for doing a fine job. And I really look forward to see you continue on this path of using more visuals for insurance. As you know, as many of the live attendees mentioned, insurance is a very serious challenge and very much needed. So I really look forward to seeing you all continue on this journey. And I want to congratulate you for your work. And we'll add your work to the art gallery page as well for everyone to see more the contract that you have created. So thanks so much. And we have another presentation. I think we have 2 more presentations. But maybe there's a comment you want to add, Robert?
Yeah, I just wanted to, maybe for anyone else out there that's also looking at trying to tackle insurance contracts specifically, and that is the use of timelines. Because in insurance contracts, it's about, you know, periods of times that you are insured, it's payments, the topic that you discussed, you know, are there sometimes people don't make the payments in time, are there grace periods, etc. So I think, you know, one can use different visualization techniques. As you know, you use the dialogue and the characters, but you could add timelines to that to highlight those critical pieces of information that form part of the contract.
Yeah, that's such a great suggestion to diversify the visual features. And I think it's true. It's such a great idea. I see Dora saying bravo for all of the insights and the tool. So great. Now we have 2 more presentations. So stay with us because there's going to be 2 other kinds of contracts. And I really hope all and every one of you are enjoying this event. If you do enjoy and if you think it could be inspiring or useful, share with your friends. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Anthony. Thanks, Robert, for staying with us. We'll bring another presenter now. I'm having such a great time at seeing all of this beautiful art. Finally, law is becoming a form of art now. Isn't it exciting? So we'll bring Melissa Saucedo, who is from Panama, who has created her own visual contract as a solo team. So really exciting to see what she's been able to create, given such the short time frame. So I'll bring Melissa here. Melissa, I think you have the live stream.
Hi, how are you? Hi.
I'm good. I think you have the live stream on the slide. Can you close it? There's an echo.
Let me close the echo.
So to answer Barbara's question, it took all of the teams 5 weeks to create the project.
Now it's better?
I think it's better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's better. Thank you. So it took 5 weeks to all of the teams. And of course, everyone is busy working, life, family, you know. So I think this is a great example that when you are dedicated to this and when you are part of a community with a structure, then magically you get more productive and you get those contracts done. And so now we have Melissa Saucedo, who's going to present as solo. So looking forward to hear what you have created for this challenge, Melissa, and looking forward to hear also as a solo, how was it to do all of this alone? So I'll let you present and you have 15 minutes to present. Thank you so much for being here, Melissa.
No, thanks to you. I'll share my screen now. And just tell me if you can see this. You can see it.
Yes, it's here now. And maybe you want to present yourself as well to the audience.
Okay. Yes. Well, my name is Melissa. I am from Panama. I'm very happy to be here and very honored to be in front of Robert. It's kind of, you know, it made me feel nervous to be in front of him. I didn't expect it, but well, here we are. So we'll start sharing you my story, so you can start related with it, and then I will tell you more about it. So you can see the screen, right? You can see my contract?
Perfect. Yes, I can see your contract. I can see you. We can hear you well. And
Perfect.
everything is working perfect.
Okay, well, I chose an influencer agreement. And I chose it because I think that this kind of contracts works very well in the branding and marketing industry, because they used to hire a lot of young people. And young people don't like to read. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I'm supposed to like reading, and I hate long contracts. So imagine how will they feel when they are hired and they have this big contract, like sign here, and it was like, oh my God, I have no idea where I'm getting into. So I think that these kind of contracts will be very engaging for young people. And also they will feel the vibe of the company. The company can insert the culture in the contract so that people in their first day as their role, they will already feel like how is the vibe of the company. And that is something very important when you're starting a job. So well, as I told you, my contract is an influencer contract. It is a fashion company, Trends Inc. Trends Inc. does apparel for women, and they hire Anna Smith to be the formal wear influencer. So she's going to be promoting long and short cocktail dresses. So I wanted to recreate the scenery of a fashion company inside the contract. In terms of design, I encountered some challenges because I wanted to keep every detail, like the person will feel that will be actually in the company. And so as you will see, I try to keep every detail to resemble a fashion company. And I chose some clauses. I didn't redesign the whole contract because it's going to be too long. But I chose some specific clauses that will allow me to create a sequence and to tell a story. So you can have an idea of how these kind of contracts will be very effective in this industry. Okay, so my story is about Anna in her first day of work. And the first scene take place in the meeting room. So she gets in, and she, of course, there is the HR manager that says, "Hi, I'm Anna, welcome." And she says, "Thank you, happy to be a formal wear influencer." And she says, "Okay, let's dive into our contractual terms while I show you the office." Okay, I'm ready. Okay, something that I wanted to highlight here is that I used the white bubbles to resemble the dialogue when they are speaking. But I also created the green bubbles when Anna is thinking things to herself. Because, I mean, when you are hiring, when you are in your first day as any role, I mean, you have a lot of thoughts. I mean, there is the HR manager telling you things, but you're thinking also. So I wanted to recreate that. So the user will feel identified with those usual thoughts we have on our first day of our job. So, okay, is everything going right now? Everything's going?
Everything is going perfect. The comments are great. I know you may only see you on screen, but the comments are great. We have Cameline saying the contract looks feminine. And Nonopa from South Africa says that this is so relevant given there's so many influencers. And even Anthony saying lovely work. So everything is good. If it wasn't, I would tell you.
Okay, good. Well,
keep going.
So the second scene, I mean, they get out of the meeting room and they are in the main hall, and they are now in the first floor, and they stop. And she said, "Okay, this is like your terms and your deliverables. For 1 year, you agree to deliver 20 posts per month on our social media channels, which are Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok." And immediately she's thinking like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." I mean, she's thinking in ideas right away. And then she said, "Okay, now let's meet your coworkers." And then she moves, and she see all the girls saying like, "Welcome, Anna." And she's thinking like, "Oh my God, they're nice." Okay, like she's thinking to herself like, "Oh, I will have a very good vibe in my job." So something I wanted to tell you is that it was very hard for me to redesign Anna looking backwards, because that icon doesn't exist in Canva. I had to cut, paste, put some hair on the back so she can be resemble like she's looking backwards, but actually she's if I take all the hair, you will see her as she is in the first scene. So it was very challenging for me to recreate the characters using Canva, which I love it because it made my creativity just, whoa, okay. So let's move to the...
and for people who don't know, I'm just jumping in. Canva is an amazing design tool. We're using it a lot in the academy to help members get started with the design, which is easier. But sometimes, like Melissa, like you say, sometimes you want to be really creative and you end up being a bit stuck in the process. But because you're persistent, you managed to find a solution. So well done, Melissa.
Yeah, I was very pleased with my cut and paste character, but I try to manage. Well, let's move into another area of the company. Okay, now that she has, getting into the influencers area, as you can see in the door, there is the letterhead that said influencers. Now she gets into her area, into her office, and there is this clause talking about equipment and resources. And you have the HR manager telling her that trends will provide her with a full office set and including an iPhone. So she have to work there and use everything, all the tools that they are giving to her. But just remember that you have to return it when your contract ends. And she immediately thinks, oh my God, I love this, right? Like, oh, this is beautiful. The space, is pink. I have a little frame in the back. Okay, everything's so fashionable. So she's like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then they move to the fitting room, okay? And they will talk about non-competing, because it's important for trends to make her know that she can promote long or short cocktail dresses because it's exclusively for trends, okay? So they move into the fitting room. In the back, you see other girls like dealing with the clothes and everything. And she says, okay, trends doesn't allow marketing for a competitor brand of long and short cocktail dresses. Do you agree? And she said, yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, then they move in another side of the fitting room, and they will talk about the rules, because she has to fit the clothes and she will be photo shoot in the company so she can make her content to the social media. Okay. So here I don't wanted to say everything in a dialogue. I wanted to be part the speech of the HR manager, and the other part that will be interpreted by the influencer. So as you can see, she says, okay, clothes fitting and photo shoot rules. You must check your monthly schedule and only reschedule one per month, previously notified to your supervisor. So in the back, there is a wall where she has to look every month, and she's going to look her name, as you see, Anna Smith, and she have appointments on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that is the schedule. She cannot reschedule only one. And she has to notify it to the supervisor. And immediately she thinks, oh my God, what if I have an emergency? So it's like a solo thought. And I wanted to resemble that. Also, I had to manage again with the icon to try to make her look in front and have this alone thought, like, oh my God, what if I had an emergency? What am I going to do? So then the HR manager says, okay, in case of an emergency, you must contact your supervisor and complete the report online. And she's showing her the tablet with the report that she has to fill. And immediately she thinks, oh my God, that is awesome. But she's not saying, she's just thinking it, right? I wanted to resemble that. Well, and that is it. I tried to make it short just to explain how good this kind of contracts will be used in the marketing industry. And at the end, I just put the signatures, the date, and well, that's it. I had a lot of fun. Super challenging. Love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Melissa. What a great storyteller you are. Stanley is commenting in the chat here. So what a great piece of work you have done. Oh, where's Melissa? We've lost Melissa. Oh, she's gone. Melissa, if you come back, we want to hear from you. So let's see if Melissa is going to come back. What I really loved about this contract was all of the creativity that Melissa brought into the story, the visuals, the colors, like everything seems to be so perfect for the user that is the influencer in this case. Oh, Melissa is back.
Yes, could you hear the whole presentation? Because I think I went out.
Yeah, we are back. All is good. All is
okay,
good.
Great.
It's short Q&As. Robert, any comments from what did you like about this project?
Yeah, Melissa, I think it was great. What I really liked about it is, firstly, your choice of subject. The influencer. As you said, young people. That's also one of the powers of comic contracts, is that you can convey the vibe that you want to convey, which you cannot do in text agreements. You can't say, oh, in text, this is a cool company. It just doesn't say the same thing as when you're showing it like that. So I think it was a really appropriate subject. And secondly, I really like the idea of using the thought boxes. It adds another dimension to this contract, because one of the challenges with contracting is that, you have to get this meeting of the minds. And by adding a thought box, you're literally bringing the mind into that meeting. And so I think that was also really strong. And it's a device, I think, that anyone who's participating and listening should consider, because it's very strong it gives you options in terms of creating a comic contract. So well done, great job. Thank you.
Thank you for your great feedback, Robert. And Melissa, let me ask you a question. Since you did this solo, what was how do you find all of this creativity? How did you do all of this alone as well? Tell us a little bit about that as well. The challenge as well as the rewards, right?
Well, I have to tell you, every time I designed the frame, I just came with different ideas and I had to reframe it again, everything, because it's super difficult to do comic contracts. I had no idea how difficult it is. But I just love it. And I found another path that I really want to pursue, because I felt very great doing it. It was super fun. And the first thing that I did is that I redesigned the clauses I wanted to present, because I knew they had to be short and I couldn't put all the clauses in the bubbles. So I knew I had to keep some short speech and then try to represent the other parts of the clauses with visuals so people could interpret. And I was very afraid because, of course, I didn't have time to test it. And sometimes you have an idea of things, but you don't know how people is going to interpret it, right? So I'm glad that at the end, everyone could understood what I was trying to say. But it was hard. It was not a one-day job. It took me like 2 weeks. And every day I look at it and I change something and I add something. Yesterday it was like 11 p.m. and I say, okay, Melissa, just leave it. Okay, leave it like this. There's no way you're gonna get perfection. Wait until the feedback and then you make arrangements. But yeah, I think it's kind of also something that helped me was like I try to be Anna. I try to think. Or I remember at least how was my first job when I was 18 years old and how I felt, and I try to put that in the contract to make it real.
Yeah, this is such a great point, Melissa. I think once you get to understand the legal design methodology, you get to enjoy it so much, it no longer feels like work. It really feels like creative work. But at least I can relate to that too. And then it's a constant, we have this eagerness to constantly improve and refine and embellish and make everything even more beautiful and useful, because it's not just about the beauty. It's really about making sure the information is going to be very useful and in the way we present it. So I wanted to congratulate you, Melissa. And I want to ask everyone, how do you like the presentation so far? Please, please, please let us know. We have one last team and I want you to stay because I think you're going to be impressed. I'm going to be surprised. I don't know. I have not yet seen the content. So I'm really excited to see. Thank you again, Melissa, for being here. Melissa Saucedo, all the way from Panama. And we'll bring the other last team members who are going to present. I'm going to bring Marina Paraboni from Brazil and Alana Gardellini from Brazil as well.
Hello.
Hello.
So nice to have you with us. I hear a little bit of echo, I think, or all is good. No, it's all good now. Perfect. So welcome, Alana and Marina. We're very excited to see your work. Robert is here with you all, which is really phenomenal to have this opportunity to be able to have this quality of interactions and feedback as well. It gives me a lot of inspiration. I see Anthony says, go Brazil. So let's hear you. Let's hear you present what you have created. If you need anything, we'll be backstage. Please introduce yourself and show your great work. Thanks so much for being here.
Yes, I'm Alana. I'm a Brazilian lawyer, and I'm going to share with you my screen. Let's go.
And maybe Marina, you want to present yourself while we do the screen sharing?
Yes, I'm Marina. I'm a Brazilian lawyer as well, and I work in 2 law techs, actually 1 startup and 1 law tech, so yeah.
Do you want to tell more
I
about
hope you all enjoy it today. We really work a lot in our contract.
Yes, I can see the screen is ready. Yasmin is congratulating Melissa for her work. Such great, so nice to have the community come together. Yasmin, all the way from Algeria. Thanks for being live with us. So let's hear you. Looking good.
It's okay.
We can see your screen. We can see the presentation. We can hear you. All is good.
Okay, so let's go. Welcome to our presentation titled "Why So Serious?" Now you are going to see what I and Marina redesigned for you. So here, the team. And first, which contract we choose? Well, we reflected on how the traditional vision of law and the lawyers no longer fits the current dynamics of the world. And we believe lawyers need to be responsible for implementing some general clauses or principles they learn in college, for example, trust and good faith. So, because of these beliefs, we choose a contract for the provision of law services. Indeed, it's a contract I wrote. So, the next slide. How redesign it? We have here some steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see them. The first step, mirror. We broke down the clauses into small steps and draw what we imagined for each square. We organized the storytelling considering 2 things. 1, the workflowing bubble, because we did an app prototype. And the second thing is the need to change without shock. I mean, maintain a sense of security. So we did scenes mixed with statements. Later, we went to Canva. The second step is Canva. We chose the template we wanted to use. Then we designed the steps we created on Miro. So we designed the contract in Canva. An important thing is we did some extra research on some signs from comics. And we did our choices accordingly this research. So language, lettering, colors, balloons, symbols, everything accordingly our research. And the third step, bubble. We wanted to make the contract dynamic. It fits with informally and the do-it-yourself thing comics have, because client could choose and write some parts. So as we wrote here on slide, the user can understand every clause, see the client's choices and did it, sign it online, and see the contract in traditional ways as in PDF. So here we have a balance. And now here you have our comic contract. We choose some vibrant colors to show that's different from the traditional practice of law. We used characters where we could express emotions. We used only the essential clauses in plain language, so less words and the essential words. We built it as an app so we could optimize the contract. And here we have our contract in a video. And Marina now is going to show you the contract in PDF. Please, Marina.
Yes. So after the user he finishes the app, because I mean he can like choose in what way he's going to complete it, because if there's any clause that he does not understand, he can go for better explanation. So he can like just jump to the end or like get some really good explanations about it. So after all of the steps he takes in the app, he can download the contract in PDF, and then Alana, you can go. You can pass the slide.
Okay.
And yes, and then we can see that, I don't know, for me, it's still on our comic contract.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Live, right? So you can see that the clauses, and we have a little explanation before we start that the person can choose to go in a judicial way. Alana, can please just yeah, that's it. And then the person he gets a little explanation before he starts to fill in the contract. He can choose some other options in like mediation or other negotiation, or he can choose to go in the judicial process, and that's what our contract is about, the judicial process. And then he can fill his name and his data, and then it explains what we're going to do, what the lawyers are going to do for him. And then yes, Elena, you can the next slide. And then we ask and we say what the person needs to do, and then he can feel what are the true facts from that generated, and we're going to generate that judicial process. Yes, Elena, you can, yeah. And then here is the user's obligations, the person's obligations, and we explain in other words that if the person did not understand, he can go in the next slide and understand it. And we congratulate the user if he like really understood it. And you can go, Alana. And what happens if the person is not doing what he's supposed to do in the contract? And then we explain that the contract is going to be terminated and he needs to pay either way. Or if he wants to give up in the middle of the contract, he can pay until that exact point that he wants to finish the contract. And then also until when we're going to represent, the lawyers are going to represent the users. And then we explain that until the superior courts, it is not going to be represented, so that the user can pay a little bit more and redo the contract, and then it's okay, they are going to be represented until when and this is like the clause about the payment, how much does he need to pay, and until when he has to pay, what happens if we have an agreement, and also what happens if there is any problems with the contract. And there is the end of the app where he can sign it, and then in the end he sees that the lawyers are going to be their lawyers, the lawyers of the user, and then he gets the option to download the app. If there's something you couldn't read in the slides, we're going to send the link later, just like as Isabel and Marty. So we got to do some testing. We asked the users how long it took them to read the contract, how many clauses they did not understand, and how safety they felt about reading that contract. And then we have the traditional contract. It took them 4 minutes. Only 55% of the users understood all clauses, and only 44% of them felt really safe and completely safe reading it, versus the comic book automated contract that it took 3 minutes for the users. 89% understood all clauses, and 77% of the users felt completely safe. So we have a winner, and the winner is the comic book automated contract. And we got 55% of the users that would choose to sign it, and 67% of the user would prefer to sign it. They would almost 70% would prefer to sign our comic book automated contract. And we got some feedback that the comic book is more didactic to a person that will never handle a contract, and that it's simple, it's easy to interpret, and it's still, even if it's a comic book, we got the feedback that it still has the necessary information for the execution of the service. So we still have some things to improve, and we got some feedbacks that we had to increase letter side, and we used Bubble, right? So some features about the responsiveness of the contract when you change from iPhone to a computer was still a little hard to figure out. So we still need to improve a little bit and evolve a little more our abilities in Bubble. So thank you. That's our contract. We're going to share in the, we can share later our link and you can go, Elena. And you can get in contact with us if you want to change and talk about our contract and our automated process. And also remember to vote for us. Yes.
That's so amazing. So much great energy all the way from Brazil. Parabéns. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. What I love the most, and I was not the only one to notice, is the combination of design and technology. That was really smart. What did you think, Robert?
Well, I mean, they created a comic contract. They made it. They basically automated the contract, added a contracting process, adding a whole dimension. Got user feedback on it and tested it, and then prepared this presentation and did all that in the space of time. I mean, it's unbelievable, really.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to have this feedback.
I'm happy now.
This is why Brazil is so amazing. Like, so much creativity and good vibes, right? The Brazilian vibes. Anyway, everyone did a fantastic job. Every single team, every single member of the academy did fantastic. But really, this one, I think this combination really blew my mind. It was not part of the challenge to use technology. So really well done. I have a question, by the way. I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about what's next? Are you going to develop this solution, or because like there's huge potential and
yeah, we still have some things to figure out on Bubble, and we would like to get some computer science help to like really make this work. But we could do it if we only watched one masterclass on legal creatives about Bubble, and we could do it either way. So we need to like improve a little bit and make it, and we can use it because it's doable. It's really doable.
And people really like the solution. It was really, we had a great feedback.
This is so amazing. I see Camille is saying really great. How much did it take to research and design?
A lot of time. Actually, I guess.
I don't know, but a lot of time.
Yeah. The designing process was really long to make Canva and really design it on Canva. I guess it took a lot of time, but Bubble was was fast, I guess. But the designing process was the hardest one.
Canva, yes, it was laborious. I don't know if it's the correct word, but yes, it was.
And how do you feel about the results? I mean, the results is impressive, right? Do you think you would have made it without, like, I mean, I don't know, it's just so impressive. I'm just so proud of you girls. So well done.
Thank you.
Robert, do you have one last comment for Alana, or suggestion maybe, or something that could be one idea you may have? I mean, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed with how much you guys managed to do, and I think, you know, even the numbers that you got, you know, with more time and, you know, with a continuous improvement, I'm sure that those numbers will even be much better. You know, so I think it's just an amazing job you've done in such a. I'm so impressed.
So thank you. I think the biggest prize will be, because we used to throw prizes. I mean, we still do, but this time, because of the conversation I had this week with Camilla Anderson, and also your presence today, I know Camilla Anderson is always on the lookout for comic book contracts to you know, to diffuse for people to see. And I believe this would be the best prize to have maybe you know, Camilla Anderson and possibly Robert, the three of us, we're going to take a look maybe together again at everything that has been presented. But the idea is possibly to have those contracts published with Camilla Anderson. At least she said she offered, she wants to take a look and to consider if some of those contracts are interesting and inspiring. And she said, like, she's going to be really, really excited to share, because that's part of her mission as well. So we'll definitely talk about all of this. And I think that would be the biggest prize ever, to have your contract published somewhere for people to see the great work you've done. So well done, Alana and Marina. Now we're almost at the end of the event. So I'm staying here a little bit with Robert, because I want to thank Robert for your spontaneity, for your generosity, and for staying with us throughout this event and sharing your insights and your knowledge and your wisdom. I feel like there's a lot more we could talk about. I see from the audience. Let us know, the audience, how did you like this event? Do you have more questions? Do you feel more inspired? Because I feel like I have at least a lot of ideas, a lot of, you know, lots of inspiration. And so I really look forward to see what we can do next to help the community do more of that work. Maybe to have Robert, if he would agree, mentor, it would be even better to have, like, instead of me trying to figure out everything. I mean, I think I didn't do such a bad job. I think, what do you think of the presentation as a mentor and a coach?
No, I think, I mean, it's amazing what everyone, they all came up with, you know. I mean, I really wanted to when I heard about it, I really wanted to participate, because I think every person brings their own unique angle, their own unique insight to this. You know, contracts are such a ubiquitous thing in our lives. You know, it holds our economies together. It's so much part of it, and if we can add this creative side to it, you know, and you know, so many people have so much to offer. You know, lawyers do, but also designers and illustrators. You know, anyone has something to offer into this process. So, you know, I enjoyed it. I really learned a lot. I mean, I made quite a few notes, and I think, wonderful for hosting this, because that's how we all learn and take it forward and try to make contracts more accessible and make relationships more sustainable. So it's a fantastic job.
Well, thank you so much, Robert. Let's hear from the audience. I was very inspired too, but I'd like to hear from the audience what they have learned today with this art gallery on the topic of comic book contracts. So please let us know in the poll using Menti. All you need to do is scan the QR code on your phone, open a new page on your desktop or laptop, go to menti.com, you can see it on the screen, and put this unique code 89023605. That way we can get to see a little bit what you have learned today and what you may want to learn in the future, so we can make sure to support you on your legal design and innovation journey. So there are 3 questions, and I think we're going to do the questions together. I think there are 3 questions. So what did you learn today by watching this comic book contract art gallery? And stay with me because there are 2 more questions. So stay with me on the poll. I see storytelling applied to contracts, video, image, sound. Who would have imagined that this would even be possible? But that's what's happening when we think a little bit more creatively about how to deliver a message. You have learned how to make readable contracts. Many contracts to redesign. This is so true. We're still at the beginning of legal design. I mean, as Robert Durow mentioned, Colette Brunswick from Switzerland started. Do you know when she started? It's impressive. It was back in 1992. So we think legal design is so new. It's kind of new, but it's not so new. There's been already professors and researchers starting to investigate the intersection of design and law back in 1992 in Switzerland. And then there's been lots and lots of work in the Nordic countries. And now this movement is becoming international. So I see you've been learning a lot on the storytelling. And we really made this, I really made this a point in the mentoring sessions that we hosted for the participants of the challenge. I really tried to have the members create a story and not just use visual to describe information, but really to create a story. And so that involved sometimes some one-on-one conversations and feedback sessions to really move this and change a little bit from text and descriptive text to stories. So now I'm going to move to the second question. I see my camera has a little problem here, so I'm going to change and move to the second question. So let's see a little bit from the second question. I'm going to press. So let's hear. Let's see. What if you were to use more visuals in your contracts? In what ways would this help you deliver more value? I see here to present the results to the client better and in a more convincing way so that you can better rule the commercial deal. This is such a great one. Sorry, I'm just trying to come back with the camera, but bring more engagement. I think engagement, Camilla Anderson, she did a research, and I'd love to hear you talk more about this. So when we'll have a discussion after the event, bringing more engagement, the contract research she has done has proven that those contracts are easier to understand, they are more engaging, and the organization that use them are perceived way better.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
You want to add something to this, Robert?
No, you got it 100% right. She tested on those 3 metrics: comprehension, engagement, and perception. And on all 3 of those metrics, the results were extremely positive for using comic contracts. Engagement is really the precursor. It's the necessary step to someone reading something. If they're not engaged, they're not going to read it. And so engagement is such an important criteria, and visuals are such a wonderful way to engage. And then obviously comprehension, the ability to understand, and perception. What do you think of a company that presents you with a comic contract, as opposed to what do you think of a company that presents you with a wall of text? It seems so obvious now, but her research definitely shows that companies that make the effort to make the make the contracts more accessible, friendly, as Melissa said, the vibe, it creates a positive impression of that company. So it's in the interest of companies to explore this as a method. Yeah.
This is so great. I see Cameline in the chat is sending a warm thank you. Thanks to you, Robert, for the feedback on the contract. It takes courage to jump into legal design. And it's true, like creativity is courage. I think that's what the painter Henri Matisse said, or Picasso. I'm not sure who was the source. But now the idea is, I see there's a lot of interaction in the chat, in the comments, and we like to keep those events short and impactful. And I see like many of you would like to start this journey or continue this journey to be able to either work with the legal design experts, because maybe you don't have the time to do what all of the challengers have done, because of course it takes time to learn, it takes time to practice. So this is great that some of you want to work with a legal design expert to get the work done for you. And as you have seen, we have some pretty solid experts at Legal Creatives that we have trained using this methodology, and that can help you. Now, some of you may want to know a bit more about the programs we have, and I have something for you. So stay with us, because I want to help you with that. And many of you would like to sign up. So it would be super, super exciting to have you on this journey with us and with the community, because when we come together, we are so much more unstoppable. When I started this in 2017, Legal Creatives, as an educational platform for legal design, like it was so new, right? And myself, I felt a little bit alone. So I said, well, there must be other people in the world that want to do that. So let's bring the community together. And now you have seen the work that has been produced, which is very, very impressive. And so for all of you who are considering to have someone help you, are considering to learn, are really eager to start now, I want to show you a short video. And then I want to show you something I have just created on the spot to help you continue this journey, because I really like the interactions we have. So let's see this short video, and then I'll make this invitation to you to continue this journey with us all. So just a second for the video, and Robert, stay with us. I'll bring you backstage. So that was a short video to show you a little bit in a comic way what we do at Lego Creative. So I tried to apply what I teach, and I got to find a creative way to present Lego Creatives using comic. And if all of you are interested, here's what we're going to do now. I just decided to invite you all to join the community so you can stay in touch with everyone else who has been presenting and who also is learning with us on the platform. So we have created for all of the like-minded professionals like you, a group, a community on Telegram. Telegram is a conversational tool that is a free app on your phone, and it's a great way to stay in touch, ask quick questions, and stay in touch with the community. And we already have it's a new initiative we have just created at Lego Creatives, and so we already have a few of our Academy members inside the group on Telegram. And so I really encourage you to join this group if you really want to be a part of this community and not just wait for the next art gallery in 2 months to catch up with everyone who is attending the event. So that's the first invitation. So let me know in the chat if you want to join this community on Telegram. Then the other invitation I want to make is I want you to really, really get started on this journey with Lego Creatives, because you see the results that you can have when you learn Lego design deeply with a methodology, with a community. It's very impressive the kind of results you can get. And without this academy and without those challenges, I mean, I doubt we would all and every one of us do this, crazy challenge. It forces us to practice. And I think the practice is key here. It's about implementing the methodology to come up with new solutions. It could be new contracts. It could be new tools like Alana and Marina. It could be new systems, new products. Whatever you want to create, the Lego design methodology can help you start doing things differently. And it doesn't have to be big things at the beginning. It can be small changes, but meaningful changes. And so if you would like to have the support of this community, then I see many of you are really eager to join. The Academy is there for you. And the great news is the Academy is running all the year, but the challenges are every 2 to 3 months. So we just completed a cycle with this challenge, and we're going to have another challenge start soon. So if you're really, really interested to join, it's happening now. So you can really take the next challenge and join the community and watch all of the video series we have created for you all. So, Robert, some final words before we go and before the community shares a little bit in the chat how they feel about everything, this event and everything.
Yeah, thanks, Tessa. I just want to congratulate each one of those teams. I mean, I think what they managed to do in such a short space of time is really impressive, and everyone brought their own special angle to it. And I just like to encourage everyone to, there's still so much to learn. There's really so much to learn. If you think about, contracts have been done in one way as walls of text for hundreds of years, and only in the last couple of years are we starting to explore other mediums within which to conclude contracts. And if you think about, you can use, obviously we have text. You can look at plain language as a way of improving contracts. You've got all the different visual schemes. You can mix and match them in different ways. You can add audio. You've got color. You've got, as we saw today, speech bubbles, thought bubbles. There's so many ways in which we can communicate contract content appropriately and positively. And I think it's really exciting, and I really love the idea of everyone sharing what they're doing, because that's how we learn. And no, thanks for hosting this, Tessa. I think it's a fantastic platform for everyone to learn from each other.
Thank you so much. I think you have summarized so well all of the possibilities that are available using visuals for contract and legal information. And I want to congratulate all of the teams for their hard work, for their dedication, but also for their trust. For their trust, well, in me as their coach and mentor, but mostly trusting themselves that they can do this. And I think that's what the most beautiful thing about those challenges. You know, it's called a challenge for a reason. This is not easy, but when you challenge yourself to do something that you've never done before, this is where you get the breakthrough. And I was so impressed to see so many Academy members today really break through. And every challenge, I see so many of you break through even more. It's like you're breaking down the barriers and making the impossible possible. I mean, Alana and Marina, well done for this integration of Bubble. That is the tech platform we introduced to you in the Academy with our expert, Arnaud Cervera, who came to teach this class, because it's not just me teaching, but we have experts teaching. And if you are interested to see, I can show you who are the next experts. And who knows, maybe Robert one day will be accepting to mentor or teach a little bit his secrets and his techniques. At least it would be fantastic. So, so congratulations to all of their teams. The biggest prize you're going to get is a potential publication. We'll see. No, I cannot promise anything, but for sure, we're going to sit down with Camilla Anderson and maybe also with Robert Deroe and take a second look at what you have created, and see which of the projects that can be published. So you can get a publication as a prize, which I think is pretty good. Now, if those of you who say they really want to start learning now, you can start learning today. You can start learning right away on the Lego Creatives platform. I'm showing you now the inside of the platform. This is the members era, where when you join, you get to have this library of video series and also calendar of live classes. So you can get to interact with each other during the live and also get to learn more from the experts. Of course, we have those great challenges as well. Needless to say, this is a great way to learn. And so those are the next live masterclasses. We are delivering now those classes every Thursday. So that means next Thursday, there's a masterclass on the CSD metrics. That is an organized method for aligning your team on the best solutions. That's very relevant if you work with a team and if you would like to make sure that your innovation and legal design work is going to lead you to the best outcome. The next Thursday, we have another class called Product Evolution. We're going to show you a new tool called Airtable, in which you can do your user research and your customer research. And in fact, we've used this tool when we just completed our user research at Lego Creatives. And so we'll show you the tool we have used so you can use it as well for your own firm or your own projects. The next Thursday on the 24th, we have UX transformation. This is going to be my favorite class we're teaching this month because it's about emotions, understanding the emotional states of your customer when they work with you or when they use your tool. And we don't use emotions as it's a leverage. It's a great leverage. I've got great research I did on the topic, and I'm really excited to share it with you all. Now, we have the experts teaching, and Isabel today that you have seen, she's going to teach on the platform on the 25th of June. And so I want to thank Isabel. I don't know if Isabel, you're still with us, but if you want to join the studio again to say a few words about this class, you have the link to join the studio and you're welcome to join to say a few words about that. I'm very excited about Lego project management by design. Lego project management is a new topic. I'm not very knowledgeable about it, so I'm excited that Isabel Venegas is going to teach this. And we have those networking events as well for the community, and all of those series that you can watch at your own time and pace. So there's a lot that you can learn and leverage inside the platform. And I see Isabel is coming here. So let's have Isabel talk a little bit about Lego project management. Thanks for being here.
Hi guys, thank you very much for the introduction. This is just a quite new methodology that's been used to organize yourself in terms of being more productive, being more organized in your legal work from everyday on an everyday basis. I just very interested in the intersection between project management and legal design, which I think is the key and the future of legal services. So the plan is that in this class is going to be a very short class, but very interactive, very practical, that we all learn some very nice methods and some takeaways in order to improve our productivity on a daily basis. I hope you like it because it's very pragmatic, it's very down to earth, and it's actually what is been done in many places in the world, in different law firms and different companies. So I'm super excited, and I hope you join, because we're going to have a lot of fun together. We're going to see a lot of workflows and a lot of presentations that are really useful for you in a very mindful way of your time and in a very interactive manner. So thank you very much, Tessa. Thank you for the trust.
Oh, thank you, Isabel. I see Nunopa is excited about this, and I'm very excited about this as well. So this is the inside of the platform. Now I told you, you can actually, where is this link I shared with you again? You can actually get to have a tour if you would like to have a tour, and join the Telegram. That's what I wanted to say. Join the Telegram group to stay in touch. And Robert, you're welcome to join the Telegram group if you want to join us. We don't just talk about comic contracts. We talk about legal design and innovation and tech, but that would be really helpful. So
I could benefit from some better productivity as well. So I might join.
Oh my God, this is amazing. And so I'd like to ask all of the presenters if they would like to join in the studio again for a little celebration. Please join in the studio so we can have a little celebration before we go. And as I said, the prices are going to be the publication, if any. But I'm pretty sure we can do something to help with the publication, which I think is the biggest prize. And so let me just make sure you're going to join the Telegram group. So maybe I should share the Telegram link here so you can join right away. And maybe we want to have presenters come back just for a little celebration. Oh, we have Marina here. There's Marina. So this is the Telegram group that you can join. And Robert, you can join as well. So please join us on Telegram and let us know about who you are, what you do. And Marina, how did you like the challenge today? And how did you like the Academy helping you achieve that as well?
It was really fun to do this challenge. Really fun. Had a great time. And the Academy helped me through all the process, actually. I've been on Legal Creatives for almost a year. And I got the tools, I got the mindset, and I got everything. So I really like to be a part of this community and help each other too, because we can also always get feedbacks from one another. So it's really nice.
Thank you, Marina. What about you, Marty?
So I've been in part of the Academy for a few months, and it's been fantastic. Just to, for example, to have this competition, have a challenge, the opportunity to team up with Isabel, who's over in Spain. So there's that global dynamic to it. It's just been great. And the subject matter is just absolutely appealing. It's really crystallizes so many things from my background, from my undergraduate days to my sort of creative outlets, doing designer toy painting and other things, and just pulling it all together to also having been in private practice for over a decade. So, yeah.
Wow, we're so happy to have you. I mean, your work has been phenomenal, and I look forward to showcasing your work even more, and to see how you can help with Isabel, because I mean, you've invested a lot of time, and I'm pretty sure the second time is going to be way easier.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
What about you, Anthony?
Well, although I'm part of the Academy for almost a year, this is my first time participating in a challenge. It was surprising. It involved hard work. It was a real challenge in matters of time. But I'm really thankful for the result we've achieved. I know we have to work better in this prototype and keep evolving. And I'm also happy for how this matches my academic research on insurance and legal design. I hope this can ignite a fire in people's hearts, not only about insurance, but really about financial services, because they're so complicated. Also, it was amazing to learn from Camilla Anderson, to have live feedback from Robert DeRoy. It was like like it was a unique lifetime opportunity, and I'm glad that although we are living in this crazy pandemic season, this is one of the sole benefits, if there is any, that we can be all together virtually. And I also love the legal creatives community, being able to be connected with people from all different backgrounds, different countries. It is really enriching because we can learn from each other. And I really believe the power of the plurality, the power of putting people together to collaborate. So I'm really thankful. And I know that the best is yet to come, and our best days are ahead of us.
That's so nice, Anthony. So nice to say. And we are so excited you're part of this as well. Armel just joined as well from France.
Yes, I love the challenge. There was so interactivity between the members, into my team with Dora. I learned a lot, but it was so hard.
Yeah, this is how you get the breakthrough, right?
Sorry?
This is how you get a breakthrough.
Breakthrough.
A breakthrough, une percée, d'aller plus loin, to go beyond, right?
Yes, and I liked to discover the work of the other teams.
This is so amazing. Cecilia from Argentina. I think a connection problem. So I want to thank all and every one of you once again, and I want to encourage you to discover the Academy and to book a virtual tour so you can take a look at what's happening inside. And I will personally show you inside. So the great thing of booking a virtual tour is we get to talk about your objectives. And so if you're not sure that the Academy is for you, we get to talk about it. And I get to refer you to other resources if the Academy is not good. If I think the Academy is a good fit, I'm going to invite you to join. And for those of you who are in some, say, less favorable country, we have a program called Access for All to make sure that you can access at a fair price. So do not hesitate to book a tour. There's a few spots available next week only. I'm making myself available to discuss about your objectives, what you want to achieve, what insecurities you may have with relation to legal design, and all of the skills and tools. So we can talk about it, and you can discover the Academy right away and join in order to start learning right away on the platform, interacting with the community, and making sure you're going to be able to sign up to the next challenge. Melissa is here with us as well.
Yes, I think, now I'm online. I'm getting used to this new platform. Loved it, by the way. Well, I felt very good. I loved this challenge. I mean, I love all the challenges, but this one, I think that this one was my hardest, because we really need to think through what we're going to put in the contract, and we also have to put in the shoes, of course, of the user, and try to see if they're going to understand what you're trying to express through visuals. And I've just discovered, as I told you before, a new path that I will really want to pursue in a very, so I'm going to keep studying it deeper, because I really see a lot of potential with this kind of contracts in the marketing industry. I think it's going to revolutionize the whole contracting thing with branding, and it's going to mix very well. So I loved it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you understand it. And also I'm very happy to be in front of Robert. For me, it's an honor to be here and to know you. And I was saying to the guys, like, oh my God, I just can't die now because Robert saw my design. Because you're like the father of this, so I really respect your work, and I actually got very inspired with your contract to make mine. I thought I took some ideas of yours, so I I just got them. I borrowed some of your ideas.
Well, I think we would never have done this challenge if it was not for Robert Duro. That's for sure. So that was a great inspiration, and such a great way to revolutionize the law. So I'm so happy that you got to dare to do this. I think 10 years ago, was it 10 years ago? I've read a little bit your story online, and it's just fantastic how much work you have put into this. And now what you are able to create as a movement and inspire others like Melissa to really use visuals in contract and storytelling. And so I'm forever grateful that we are able to inspire each other.
I think, yeah, thank you. I think, yes, we all, I was lucky to be inspired by the work of people before me, Helena Harpier, and before her, Colette Brunswick, and other people. And, and also in other fields, like the book that Scott McCloud wrote, Understanding Comics. I really highly recommend it to everyone to have a look at that. And so I think what I love about this community is that we're playing it forward, so other people can build on our work again, and that's how we're going to serve the purpose that I think we're all here for, and which is to make things easier and better and more democratic, make contractual information more democratic, because we mustn't forget that contracts are state sanctioned private litigation. You are organizing a private arrangement that is enforced by the power of a state, and it's serious, and often there's always an asymmetric power relationship in contracts, and so I think we all have a duty to do what we can, to balance that power relationship, so that people can understand their contracts better, so that they can access their rights, not just when they sign the contract, but also when they need to review the contract, when they become unsure about something. So, I think it's really important work that we're all busy with, and I'm just so inspired by seeing everyone's work and carrying it forward. Fantastic. Well done.
Well, thank you, Robert. We look forward to continue learning from you. And if you are interested, we can set up something so we can learn from you in a structured way, whether it's inside the academy with a mentoring or maybe a masterclass from you. That would be just fantastic. We didn't talk about that, but I'm just throwing the invitation. And that would be phenomenal. And your feedback today was inspiring, extremely useful, and prompt each of us to investigate even more how we can use more visuals and also research how they can bring more outcomes, better outcomes. So I want to thank you once again, and thank everyone for being live. What a great celebration. It's truly exciting. And right now it's going to be a continuation for those of you who are already inside the academy learning with us. But for those of you who want to join, this will be the starting of a new journey. And I think it's going to be a really exciting journey. So make sure to join the Telegram so we can chat. This is a place where we support each other, we inspire each other, we ask questions, and make the most of it. And I look forward to see Robert in the Telegram as well. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's make a little bye-bye wave to all of the live attendees. And let's just enjoy this process of learning and applying legal design. All right, everybody, I'm going to end this broadcast. Bye-bye.